Hello everybody, this is General Yanis, and today in Death Card Tactics I'm going to be looking at all the point updates from the 2022 Munitorum Field Manual for Death Guard, looking at all the point changes. Unfortunately, quite a few units have gotten some point increases, and not so many actually has gotten some point decreases. So let's get started. So today, the 22nd, the preview, the pre-order date for the Warzone Grand Tournament and the Munitorum Field Manual, and from review of other YouTubers, I've been able to see the points for the Death Card. So in this video, I'm just looking at the Death Card point updates. With no further ado, let's get started. So here I'm summarizing the Death Card point updates for our HQ choices and Mortarion. There has been no changes what I could see. And then if we look at the troops, one of the big changes is Poxwalkers go up from 5 points to 6 points each. It's quite a big increase, 20% point increase. So the minimum Poxwalker squad now will be 60 points. The cultists have been unchanged, and the Plague Marines and their weapons are also unchanged. Unfortunately, I would be hoping a little bit for Plague Marines to become more interesting. Maybe their weapons could have been a bit reduced, but no changes in the Plague Marines. But the Poxwalkers get more expensive to use. Then if we look at the elites, the Foul Blight spawn, as we have seen from the Warhammer community preview, gone up 15 points to 90 points, also a very big percentage increase, so much more expensive to get the Foul Blight spawn in the lists. Then the other Virion have been unchanged, the Hellbrood seems unchanged, the Possessed also seem unchanged, and then we come to the Blightlord Terminators, widely used in most of the competitive Death Card list. They are increased from 40 points per model to 42 points per model. Their weapon seems to be unchanged. All of them seem to be costing 5 points more. Like currently, it's a 5% increase here. So a group of 5 will be getting 10 points more expensive for the Blightlord Terminators. When we come to the Death Shroud Terminators, one of my favorite units to use, unfortunately the Death Shrouds go from 50 points per model to 55 points per model, 10% more expensive for the unit. As a small consolation, the extra gauntlet for the champion is not in the list, so basically it should be for free to get this extra gauntlet. But at least a 5 point per model increase for the Death Shroud. If we look at the fast attack, the blow drones have been unchanged, and the Mephitic Blightholder that we've been talking quite difficult position at 140 points compared to the Plague Scroller that received a nice point cut. It also receives a point cut, so it will be down to 130 points, 7% point decrease. So quite handy to be able to use a little bit more of the Mephitic Blightholders. The cow spawn unchanged, and then in the heavy support, as we saw, the Plague Scrollers go down 15 points, and the Entropy Cannons are still costing 5 points each. So we have the 150 point for the Speeder configuration and 160 point for the Entropy Cannon configuration. 9% point cuts here, so good. That's basically the two units that the only two units that receive point cuts for us: the Plague Scrollers and the Mephitic Blightholders. Defilers, Land Raiders, Annihilators, and the Predators are being unchanged. Also the Chaos Rhino and the Miasmic Malignifier. So summarizing all the changes: Poxwalkers increase to 6 points, plus 2 points for the Blightlords, plus 5 points for the Death Shroud. Mephitic Blightholder goes down to 330 points. Plague Scroller, as we saw, minus 15 points, and the Foul Blight Spawn, as we saw, is now costing a hefty 90 points. So what will this mean for our typical lists? So as I said, plus 10 points for a 5-man Blightlord Terminator squad. So the minimum cost for the squad is 210 points. 3 Death Shroud now will be costing a minimum of 165 points. So now they are also more expensive than the Plague Scroller. So the Plague Scroller with his point cut will not be so often the target to the last, and it was a really good target to the last secondary. They can include the extra gauntlet for free, a small consolation there, but again, instead of 150 points for the minimum Death Shroud squad, it's 165 points. The smallest Poxwalker squad is 60 points now, So if you have used a list Terminators and Poxwalkers, let's say 40 Poxwalkers, 10 Blight Lords, and 6 Death Shroud, the point increases here will have to, let's say, will be 90 points. So you have to find those 90 points somewhere else, or start reducing some extra weapons, or getting a little bit less Poxwalkers, and so on. If you are using 3 Plague Burst Crawlers in your list, you will be quite happy. They will be saving you 45 points. But if you use, of course, a lot of Terminators, the net will be higher. You will get more point increase than you have been saving with your Plague Burst Crawlers. If you're using the Foul Blightspawn, which is an awesome Virion model, he will set you back additional 50 points to find somewhere, and each Volkite Contemptor with 2 times the Volkites will be also setting you back 20 points. And unfortunately, we didn't get any reduction to the Plague Marines. So just a quick example of what it would do for a specific list. Here was the tournament list I used for my first tournament. The HQ choices didn't change for the price or the Mortarion that I used, but here I had 30 Poxwalkers, so instead of 50 points each, there would be now up to 60 points. I used 2 units of Death Shroud. I didn't use Blight Lords. Those will go up to 165 points instead of the 155. I was using the extra gauntlet in this list. And then 2 Volcons, those will be 170 instead of 150 points. And then I had 2 Plague Burst Crawlers, so those will be cheaper, 160 points instead of 175 points. So with the previous points, this list was 1,998 points. Now with the new points, it would be 60 points higher, so 2058. And in order to fix this problem, I could, for example, in this list, I could maybe take out one 10-man Poxwalker, and then I would be 1998. That would have worked, and the list would probably have worked quite similar, but I would have one less squad of Poxwalkers to use. If you have a list with a lot of Blight Lords, a lot of Death Shroud, you will be struggling a bit more to find. And the Terminus Est, where we were using, let's say, 100 Poxwalkers, there's got to be a lot of points to try to find somewhere. So I think the point changes here seems like a hit or setback for the Terminator and Poxwalker heavy builds, and the list. I think they can still be used, but probably have to cut down on some of the Poxwalkers, or maybe take less special weapons for the Blightlord Terminators. If the squad of 5 is costing 10 more. If you cannot afford, you can take out the flail or the blight launcher, and then you will have a little bit more, a less cost increase, but still the flail is so good on the Terminators. Maybe this will open up also for a little bit more use of the cultist and plague marines. The cultist will now be 50 points. That will be the cheapest troop choice we have. And the incoming, let's see what all the incoming changes are to the secondaries and the mission objectives, because then maybe also plague marines that have been unchanged in cost can become a little bit more interesting. The demon engine heavy lists should probably become better. Let's say list with a lot of plague burst crawlers. The furtive blow drones are unchanged, and the mephitic blight holders are cheaper. So there we could build the Epidemius heavy lists and have some points left over for more stuff. Epidemius didn't seem to get any increase, but again, the problem here is that these tanks go increase, but they become more prevalent. But also maybe in a meta now where some very heavy and very nasty anti-vehicle weapons will be arriving on the scene. So, summary and final thoughts. The points increased for some of the most currently used Death Guard units. The Terminators and the Poxwalkers have received the biggest point increases, and of course the Volkite Contemptors, as we saw on the preview. The Plague Burst Crawlers and the Mephitic Blight Holder get the only point reductions, but as I said, probably arriving at the most dangerous time for vehicles in the meta, when we will see, for example, the Tau Codex coming up. But let's see the other changes to mission and secondaries, so we can see how we can maybe start making new lists, or we can modify and work ourselves around these point increases. So this concludes this quick review of the point updates. What do you think about these changes? Are you able to fix your lists, somehow modify them to still have them work? Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, please press like and subscribe to the channel, where I will be bringing you more death card tactics and news about death card. And I will be math hammering the new point costs, also working on new lists with the new point costs. If you want to further support my efforts, please visit my Patreon page. And as always, a very big thanks to all my patrons for your very good support. So with these words, General Yanis is signing out. Stay safe out there, and bye-bye.